What was that?
Perfect.
You want to be that guy?
Wow.
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 Got him.
Went down. How are you guys? Good morning, Monday morning. This fine Monday.
What's up? Welcome to Decentralized TV. I'm your host, the Data Lord. This is Jaime, and we're watching Crypto and Coffee. We drink about coffee. We watch about crypto. We read about it. And I need to drink more of it, apparently, because I can't talk right. So, perfect. That's great, Brandon. Good job. No,
it's an interesting week, close of month.
It is.
Also, so we have quite a bit to talk about regarding price action, technology, banks, and everything else. We're ready, despite our speech impediments of Monday.
My peach impediments. Yeah, I went skating a little too hard this weekend, and I just sent it, and I landed some cool stuff, but I just sent it, and I'm not feeling great today. I think I bruised my ribs.
Oh, dude.
It's like, all right, it is what it is, man. You bail when you bail. So anyways, good morning, everyone. Indo, I see you, brother.
Good morning, Indo.
I see you. Jordan Hamill. Brother,
good morning.
I haven't seen you in the chat very much, but I appreciate that you're here today. Boss Trader, yo, what's up? What's up?
Good morning.
Caleb Johnson, hand pink waving. I know that's a
Let's go, Callum.
Oh man, Go Bug, what's up?
Bug,
Boss
good morning,
Trader,
sir.
good morning. What's up? We got a full house today. So, let's look at the markets. Let's take a little looky loo, huh? So, like Jaime said, we think this week's gonna be a blast. It's just gonna be fun, friends. So let's look at where the markets have been. The last week, Bitcoin was the one that pumped, and because Bitcoin pumped, we saw a raise in a lot of other cryptos too. Ethereum had half of our raise from what Bitcoin had, and that's because people are taking profits off ETH because they can finally move some of their staking rewards, and that's what happened. Looking at Cardano, that had a number because they've been releasing a lot of news articles about stuff. We'll talk about that. Dogecoin had a little bit of a pump, and so did the rest of the meme coins. There's also Pepe Coin, aka PP Coin, point and laugh. And there's all those other Doge variants like Shibarium and whatever. It's cringe. Don't do it. Solana is 9.5% up. A lot of devs going on there. Polkadot, to their own horn. I'll show you that. 2.3. Litecoin, 5.3. So, but you look at the 24-hour, and it looks like people took profits over the weekends. A lot of people took profits, locked them in, and were like, I don't know what the hell this week's going to have. And there's macro reasons for that. So, looking at my short trades here, as opposed to Jaime's really smart macro trades, I lean towards mostly of what Jaime is doing, by the way.
But that's high time frame, guys. These short time frames, Brandon, you're doing the right thing in terms of, if you have the time and the capacity to see this, do it. In my case, I got twins, and we have so many responsibilities. So the high time frame makes more sense. So it's just according to your style, trading style, everyone. So it's not good or bad. It's what you can do. Just do it right.
Yeah, thanks for that. These are 4-hour candles, so I had to zoom out because we have to look at where things are going to happen, because we're kind of indecisive at this current point. You can see we have a lot of peaks right here that were resistance before. That's support now. So we're finding out if all these little peaks here that we hit along the way are going to be supports. We're not sure yet. It's still testing them, but it looks like 28.3 is the next tree branch to fall through, and then under that 27.8 is the next tree branch to fall through, and then really I'm hoping to pick something up under 27. That'd be ideal.
And that's very close to the bottom we're seeking for on the weekly basis. So you're right on, Brandon, on this, your analysis.
Yeah, and honestly, we've banged on that 27 enough that I'm feeling good about where we're at. Like that 27, it's going to take a little bit of momentum to punch underneath 27. It certainly can, but on a short time frame, that's kind of what I'm looking at now. Looking at Dogecoin, if it'll load. What the hell happened to my browser? Why? We do it live, people. You got to know. So, Dogecoin, I saw it fit after we kind of bounced right off that to enter a position right around 27.27. And this is Doge over Bitcoin. So these are Satoshis. So Doge tends to perform really well around halvings, and we have Litecoin halving coming up really soon here. So really don't be surprised. And this is not financial advice, but this has historically been the case around Litecoin having halvings. Dogecoin, because it's also in script with Litecoin, it pumps. And so for that very reason, more so a minor reason, not like minor small, but like people who mine Dogecoin and Litecoin on script ASICs, they have big bags and they tend to dump them just before the halvings and after the halvings. So they'll dump like the Doge bag before the halving. When Litecoin pumps, they'll take profits there, and then after those profits are taken, they'll slide them over into Dogecoin. That'll pump, and then so they ride 3 waves. This tends to happen, and I'm kind of banking on that happening. Who knows? Maybe it will or won't. But I'm in a position right now to be able to handle that kind of ride. So my
I really appreciate you sharing this, Brendan. It's great.
My targets are at least 30%, and I really think that that's reasonable within the time frame, because Litecoin's gonna be having, and then so do what you want, but don't be surprised if you see what I said referenced later. And then Polygon Matic, I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Polygon. There's been so much news around Polygon, just doing the right thing for people and working with companies like our headliner, MasterCard today. They're just doing cool stuff. And so that being said, I was looking for entry point, and these are 4 hours. So you can see right here at like $1.05. And this is Matic over the USDT. I'm really feeling like that at this point has been established as a strong support. So if you punch under that, and hey, look, we punched under that, it's a good pickup. And so if I were to kick out to like a 1-day view, you can see like, no, really, that's a good pickup. like we have a lot of precedence for it being that price, and really this is the floor at 55 cents. So anything in between, that's a really good accumulation phase. And whenever we do have Litecoin having a halving here soon, we're probably going to see a lot of money pushed into the altcoins afterwards. And my feeling is that we're probably going to see some $2 Matic, something around there. So entering this position and kind of swing trading it up is my intention. Now, none of this is financial advice, hear that, but these are the things I'm doing as I'm reading articles every day, and as I'm looking at price action and having conversations with business people about the price action every day. This is how I'm thinking about it. So wanted to say what's up to everyone else in the chat. We got Boston, Bossy, my girl Ann, I see you, girl. And Gundy, my boy.
Good morning. Crypto
So, Jaime, I'm not going to be rude, but will you whip it out for us?
Here it comes. Let's do it. Boom. All right, guys. So this is what we're watching for the month close. Today is it happened last night, and within just 24 hours, less 12 hours, we see this movement already, and you can see a repeat of what happened around February. Remember, in January we had the big move up to the 50 moving average. Then it hovered around there for a month until it punched right through it the following month, until we reached this ceiling we've been watching, which again, for anyone who hasn't been or missed a couple of shows, you can see that this is where Bitcoin bounced multiple times until the bear market entered in earnest. So we're watching as of Friday what would happen, and take a look at what happened. Just as there's this indecision candle right here in February, and then we had a drop, and look at this, it drops down to a support level, and then boom, rallied right up to this edge where we've been for a long while. Now we just closed another, albeit thicker, indecision candle, which is a spinning top doji. That's a good sign, guys. That means that this puppy, Bitcoin, has moved up and stayed at that level. Now, the next question is, will we form another candle like this one for May? So here are the likely scenarios. Now, I'm speaking high time frames, unlike Brandon, who's speaking low time frame, where you can still see downs and ups. What we're looking for here is for the month of May, we could have, if we have a repeat of March, we could go as high as 32,000 and as low as 25,200. So 300, 25. Let's round it up, 25.5. As long as we stay above 25.5, the bullish trend continues. So this is what we can see, 32,000 down to 25.5 as the worst case scenario for the entire month of May. Just like it transpired this previous candle after the indecision candle. Now let's zoom in now where we can see what we're looking for on a weekly basis. On a weekly basis, this is what we need to do. After we closed last week, which we know was a good candle on the monthly level, we have to stay above this level, which is 27.5 on a weekly to confirm a higher high on the weekly basis. So we had a tippy top around 30,300, came down, tested this. So this becomes a higher high. Now we may be looking for that 32,000 at some point in the next month for a higher high, which confirms bullish trends. Where will this be broken? Where would the invalidation occur? Remember on Brandon's trades, he has a red zone and then he has the green zone. Your bets, or remember, we're speaking of probabilities and you make your own decisions. But here's how you can easily see where you're invalidated is if we close below this 200 weekly moving average, which is sitting at 26,000. As long as we stay above that, Bitcoin, you can rest assured it will continue rising as long as we support that. Otherwise, if we break it, the next stop we would be looking at is around 22,000, which is this 50 weekly moving average. So as Bitcoin comes back down to test this as support or within this region, if you're looking at lower time frames, we will continue conversations with Brandon and where you can scoop up for this next leg up. So don't be, we close a healthy month. So don't worry if you start seeing a slight pullback. The rocket must refuel, guys. So that's what we see. As long as we stay above 27.5, we're good. You can rest assured that within a week or two, we should see the next leg up and a reattempt of breaking this monthly resistance, 6-month annual resistance, which is a heavy one. But we're good on the overall. Bitcoin is healthy. Now, if Bitcoin goes sideways for a little bit, then you should see the altcoins start pumping up, which aligns with what Brandon just said with Doge and Litecoin that are on the same script as Bitcoin. So looking good, guys. A slight pullback is good. That's where you're looking at entry positions. But most likely, as long as we do not break these two levels, 27.5 and 26,000, we're good, guys. It's looking good moving forward. Now, if there's a bank run, another bank failure, get in, boys and girls. Get in because Bitcoin is performing as programmed, engineered.
Get in, loser. We're going Pokemon Go hunting. And just to give you guys like a sharp look at this, and maybe I'll flip over to this other view here. These are the other halvings coming up. So Litecoin, make it a big boy. So Litecoin is having in 85 days. So I want you to pay attention to that piece because I know a lot of people don't think of Litecoin as like a big hitter. I'm telling you, for a long time, Bitcoin miners had a ton of Litecoin ASICs, and Litecoin's on the script algorithm, SCRYPT script, and Doge was a fork of Litecoin, and so now Doge is probably used more and known more than Litecoin, especially by people who have recently got into the space. But please trust, big miners have a bunch of these script miners. They're mining Litecoin and Doge. They are. And so 85 days, we're going to see that inject a bunch of money into the space because people are going to be trying to take profits. And like what Gundy just said, like, yeah, who's Brandon?
Oh, my apologies, Data Lord.
Who's the Data Lord, Brandon? Well, I have a name too. It's Brandon. And
Data Lords. My apologies.
Yeah, Brandon.
I doxed
you. No, it's okay. I self-identify as that. So 85 days though, Litecoin is probably going to pump. We're going to see a lot of action around that, but I also want you to see we are within 365 days of Bitcoin and its forks also going off. So
1 year, guys, 1 year.
In 335 days, Satoshi's vision, which is trash, but people are going to flip it as a meme coin, as a
Hey, you
trashy
can
altcoin. Yeah,
traders trade shit too. As long as there's movement, you can trade anything and just go with the odds in your favor.
Know that just coming up in 335 days, Satoshi's vision is going to do its thing. Which
not the real Satoshi, by the way, guys.
No, fake Satoshi's vision. Craig writes a turd. Bitcoin Cash is also going to pop that off. Roger Ver, shout outs to my other turd. 336 days, and then in 335 days, Bitcoin, the real one, is Bitcoin parentheses, the real one, is going to pump. But I just want you to know there's going to be money moving around Satoshi's vision and Bitcoin Cash, aka BT Trash, aka B Trash, aka B Cash.
The Me Too's. The Me Too's of Bitcoin.
So I think in these terms that like halvings are going to happen and Litecoins is soon. So trade with that in mind. Jaime had brought this to my attention. I thought this was super rad and we want to talk about it. So Apex Pro, we're looking in this kind of caught Jaime's attention and I'm doing my diligence on it. But Apex Pro here is a non-custodial trading platform that delivers limitless cross-margined perpetual contracts to its meta community under a new social trading framework. Now, we but humble pirates, them's his fancy words, right?
So what does this mean, if you don't mind? And why it called our attention is because in the past few weeks, we've been speaking of, okay, how do you trade this? Boston and a few others of our community were like, okay, where can you do this? Well, Coinbase is one of those locations you can do it. But as we see, there's a lot of regulatory issues where they're almost forcing Coinbase to go abroad just to protect the development of its community. So that's where it creates a risk for Americans to trade on platforms where the SEC, instead of working with them, beats the shit out of them and bullies them. So that's where and a lot of people are like, well, where else can I trade? This is one we came across. This was developed by Bybit, who are now going to KYC on their centralized exchange. But because they saw this coming, this pressure coming, they also launched a DEX, a decentralized exchange, just like Binance has its own DEX. And you're going to start seeing a lot of these start popping up. What is a decentralized DEX? A DEX is where from your wallet, you can go execute a trade and bring back to your wallet. So it does not go to a centralized location where it's under their keys, the protection. It always stays within your keys. So you send it in to the DEX, and let's say you're trading Bitcoin for USDT, or you're shorting, or you're longing. It goes to the DEX, creates the transaction, and brings it right back to your wallet. And in this case, DEXs, there is no KYC usually. So this is an alternative where, and of course, as US citizens, we declare our taxes and we do our taxes. So this is not by any means where you're trying to skirt it, although you can. We don't recommend it for your financial health and future.
You can also drink bleach. I don't recommend you do it.
Correct. But what this provides, though, is the fact that you don't lose control of your keys, of your asset, your crypto asset. it stays within you, goes to transaction, comes back to your wallet. So this is another one. And we could create an affiliate link and all that stuff. We're not getting to that mud ourselves. We just came across this and we're sharing it to our community. So you know there are alternatives for entry and exit, or even trades for your crypto. And Apex is one of those.
Yeah, real talk. And I also see some of the people I didn't say shout outs to yet. So Bricktown Music Group, I see you.
Good
What's
morning.
up? And Nemesis, my boy, faithful and true. We're in a secular bull run within a bear market till we hit a new top. Yeah, it kind of feels that way, don't it?
And Nemesis, you have a good point here. So let's say we reach that top of 32,000, maybe slightly higher by a wick. Expect a pullback sometime at the end of this year or the next few months. But that pullback, literally on the macro level, is just a higher high. And that's when we confirm the bull run. So have some cash on the side to enter at this pullback, which may not occur now, but it may occur within over the summer, for example.
Yeah.
So great point, Nemesis.
Yeah, agreed. You want to be in a ready and at attention position, right?
Precisely.
Yeah, Gundy's saying LTC is a sleeper for sure. Plus, LTC's got 100% uptime. That's absolutely
just
true.
Like Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. Indo says if the real life Charlie Lee comes out of the burrow and sees his shadow, then we could see LTC pump. Well, Tamp has recently seen Charlie Lee in the person, so his shadow. True. And can you tell us which way his shadow was, so we know if we're in for a longer crypto winter or not?
I think it was neon lights around when she saw the Charlie come out of the burrow. But it's pretty bullish, guys. It's pretty bullish. There's LTC has deep ties to Bitcoin because this is where code is tested first. Yeah. So it has a case, which in this case, it's crash test dummy, but it saves lives in the end. So do not put down LTC.
Gundy, the last 10 years, it hasn't. That's the statement. The last 10 years. Chuck is a true ninja. He was gone before I could see the shadow. So Tam tried. She tried. We're probably in for another few more weeks of winter. It's okay.
That's right. Okay. And then the halving, but guys, is usually where the before the halving, it's a time of price action where it consolidates. It finds the bottom. If it hasn't hit the bottom, it'll hit it. But from the halving forward, usually the price action is upwards. So we're approaching that portal soon.
So expect that. But let's get into our articles for the day. So as Polygon forges a major alliance where is Matic headed, right? So Polygon announced a strategic alliance with a cloud computing platform, Google. So they're building with Google Cloud Platform in a bid to increase adoption of its core principles. So I think here's the layout of the land. We have Microsoft's Azure as a cloud platform integrating with Ethereum. And so Polygon's like, well, if they're Ethereum, maybe it makes sense for us to be Google Cloud. And that way we can kind of play nice with multi-cloud as like a side, So I actually like this because I don't see it as like full-blown decentralization, but Google and Microsoft are different companies. So
yes,
I at very least like that they're looking at multi-cloud. So it's distributed systems at very least. So let's read the article here. So over the later half of April, Polygon Matic witnessed a steady increase in protocol fees collected on the network. As per Token Terminal, the Ethereum sidechain racked up a monthly growth rate of over 9% in fees paid by users to confirm their transactions. On the flip side, the number of active users on Polygon plunged as much as 33% over the previous month. This divergence in network traffic and fees collected indicated that the network was becoming expensive to use. Polygon's near-term growth prospects could also be impacted because of this. However, a big partnership was on the horizon, which has the potential to change Polygon's fortunes. Polygon and Google Cloud join hands. Aw, so happy together.
It's so romantic.
I can't see me loving nobody but you for all my life. Polygon announced a strategic alliance with Google Cloud in a bid to increase adoption of its core protocols. As part of the deal, Google Cloud will provide its infrastructure and developer tools to make it easier for users looking to build and launch Web3 products in the Polygon ecosystem. Wow, true that. So Google Cloud will become the strategic cloud provider for all protocols, including Polygon Proof of Stake, Supernets, and ZK EVM. Additionally, the Google Cloud will integrate its fully managed node hosting service, Blockchain Node Engine, into the ecosystem. This will help developers overcome the hassle of maintaining their own proof of stake nodes. And let me tell you how actually terrible this is if you do this on your own hardware. Like, I gave this as much effort as reasonable, and like, it's nuts. It is insane how specific this hardware has to be. So it actually is practical for people to, let's say that they want to create an application where they're having to query against the blockchain often. They have to have their own node to do that, because other people's nodes will time out and say, too many requests, you can't keep asking me that. And so this makes it really easy for an application to spin up its own node, easily be able to talk to that node as many times as it wants. And if they need more to be able to request more, they can just spin up another one. So this is really cool that they're doing that and making it not terrible. So high five.
That's good. Diversification of your platform
Chicken nuggets.
Yes, chicken nuggets. So I got contagious, bro, on the communication. So as long as you start hedging yourself with not just locking yourself in with one platform to build upon, it's very healthy for the ecosystem. So you have AWS, you have Azure, and now you have Google as platforms where you have different blockchains building on top of it. That's very healthy for the community, guys.
Yeah. Moreover, Polygon claimed that the collaboration will help in enhancing the scaling capabilities of the recent launched Layer 2 solution ZK EVM. As per the official statement, initial tests to run ZK EVM zero-knowledge proofs on Google Cloud resulted in faster and cheaper transactions. So Polygon users rejoice. Did Matic benefit? The news of the collaboration brought some optimism among Matic fan base, as the coin was up 1.76% in the last 24-hour period.
That means it was stable, guys. In crypto,
I'm like, bro, what you flexing on? Wow, no kidding?
Boomer wrote this, guys. A boomer did. You don't know fluctuations, or she.
Yeah, well, it does show optimism, and they're not fudding, I guess. Yeah. The number of daily unique addresses involved in the Matic transaction surged over the past week, according to data from Santamet. Most of these users may be offloading their tokens to pocket gains as the daily volume and profit increased by 48% of the previous week. Open interest was on a declining slope since mid-April, signifying decreased interest in the futures market. At the time of the writing, the total worth of active contracts was $170 million, down by 14% on the weekly basis. So, and this is Shill Slat. Thank you, Suzuki. Suzuki's not a boomer. He looks like a millennial, but you know, anyways, appreciate that. So, what does this mean? It means it's more bullish news for Polygon. We're going to see more. Whenever you see dev tools come out, it just means people will make more applications. More applications mean more users. More users means more people buying it and using it and seeing use case in it. So this should encourage anyone who's looking into, one, crypto space in general, but two, Polygon specifically, since a lot of ETH programs were kind of choked by how terrible ETH was to transact. The fees were miserable, very bad. So Polkadot, Kusama, and Cardano dominate in crypto development activity. So the reason I'm pulling this article up is because I think a lot of people misunderstand what makes a blockchain valuable. So for example, if you have a person in a rocking chair and you were to look at their motion tracker, you'd be, wow, they're so active. They're moving every day, all day long. But then you look at it and they're really just sitting here in a rocking chair, just going back and forth, right? So it's like, not all movement is progress, is the point. And
Yes,
so
some of them are gaming the system, usually if they're just rocking.
And so, you know, I don't know about Polkadot and Kusama, but I certainly know that's been the case with Cardano. Cardano on a whole, they will go on GitHub. They will find other projects that worked on Ethereum or some other blockchain peripheral to Ethereum, and they'll just refactor that code into Haskell, which is the programming language for Cardano. And that's okay. I'm not offended that they're doing that. It makes sense that if your whole platform is on Haskell and you've seen something work, that it's cool that you do that. But the issue that a lot of people have brought up is that Cardano isn't going out of its way to be innovative in the space.
Right.
It's
They're not
going
leading.
out of its right. They're not going out of their way to demonstrate what could be done. What they're doing is they're cranking up their numbers and activity, and they're paying for a lot of articles to be written in order to create artificial buzz around their platform. Now, does that mean their platform doesn't work? No, it works. Does that mean their platform isn't, you know, a relevant member of the general space experimenting? No, they're still doing that, but they're not leading in the space. And so if you're looking to put your money where your mouth is, you need to be investing in things that are innovating in the space, because all it takes is first mover advantage for something that's big, and you really might see, you know, some what do they call it? When beachheading, it's called beachheading. So
yes.
A lot of businesses will do this. It's like in World War II, you know, when you wanted to basically secure a location, you had to storm a beachhead. But once you got through the Gatling guns and you were able to actually like lock in that area, it was really, really expensive for anyone else to get the area from you, because you've already claimed it as your own. You already licked the French fry. It was your French fry, you know.
Great analysis, Data Lord. Amazing. And that's very true.
And tech works this way in general. Anyone who can claim a beachhead is likely to kind of be there for quite a while, right? Like there was this company called Lotus a while back, like way a while back, when computers weren't fun to look at. And
Lotus 123.
Yeah,
yes.
They created an office software
I was there.
that was really, really useful for businesses. And there's a big question of like, okay, what will companies use for their software to keep all their databases and, you know, official spreadsheets and marketing materials and that type of thing? And this company Lotus had really locked in a beachhead, and it took Microsoft coming against them with a better protocol with Microsoft Exchange to have email that was more than what Lotus could offer. And Lotus was already locked into a pocket. They couldn't pivot very quickly, and so they lost their beachhead there. But it took an insane amount of effort for Microsoft to overtake Lotus's beachhead. So why am I giving you this tech history? Well, crypto is tech, and you will see this happen with crypto. Bitcoin was the first mover. Bitcoin has that beachhead. It is so expensive for someone else to have a network that actually has more computational power than Bitcoin's network, that I think Bitcoin has cemented itself in that beachhead. You're not going to break that down with any reasonable amount of effort.
Right. It's extremely.
There are other beachheads that can be claimed, and I think everyone in crypto should be looking for some of those beachheads. Like, hey, what are some of the real use cases? Not the hokey use cases, the real ones, where Web3 and blockchain giving Web3 its infrastructure is going to be here for centuries, right? Like, what is that beachhead? Because there are use cases. And I think NFTs, once they're done being, you know, these corny, low-tier art projects, I think NFTs will have a legitimate use case. And it won't be hokey, and people will laugh at how all the Bored Ape stuff will be funny at some point. It will be.
Or a collector's item. I mean, that's happened.
It'll be a novelty, truly. Because it was just early history. But just the same as, like, if you look at any early invention, you're like, that's not very practical. Like, you look at the first bicycles that were made, it's like, how big is your wheel? Like, they're huge. Like, the front wheels were like massive. What was it, like 6 feet tall?
Yes.
And then they had this tiny little wheel in the back. It's like, why would you build it that way? It's like, well,
That's before they discovered differential ratios on the chain. But
right.
yes, so Cardano has been ever since inception a me too. They came out as the Ethereum killer. What does that mean? Ethereum was first. They're trying to kill it. In NFTs, me too. In so many things, Cardano has just been a me too. They have not claimed a beachhead, and I think that's the big difference.
Yeah.
Until they do, to me, they're just spinning their wheels, trying to stay
So
up.
with all of that background, I hope that was useful to everyone listening. Let's read this article with that understanding in mind, okay? So, Polkadot, a blockchain network often described as a blockchain of blockchains, has maintained its position as the leading cryptocurrency network by development activity after surpassing Cardano earlier this year. According to data from on-chain analytics firm Sentiment, Polkadot remains the leading cryptocurrency in terms of development activity, with Kusama and Cardano following closely behind as the top 3 digital assets in this regard. So pause. So Polkadot does a lot of DeFi, of DeFi. And so the reason it has so much development activity is because of all the DeFi applications. It's really easy actually to build smart contracts that play around with DeFi. And that's, I think, why there's been so much development activity. It's not that it's irrelevant. It's just that it's not that hard to publish because it's smaller stakes they're playing with, right? Like Kusama, kind of the same thing, DeFi. Cardano, totally different thing. It's not super DeFi. They really are just refactoring code for other blockchains.
And so many good ideas are coming out in the general blockchain industry. Of course, that'll keep a little monkey busy. And they have a lot to catch up on, a lot of me too's to catch up on.
And on that point too, just to explain, Haskell is a programming language that's not very user-friendly, but the benefit and why people will use it is self-auditing. It has logic checks built into the programming language. So some of the issues that were coming up with early Ethereum, specifically Ethereum smart contracts, they don't happen on Haskell because it audits and says, nah, there's an error here. You want to fix that. And so that's cool. It's useful, I guess. But my question is, with AI now being a thing, doesn't AI extend those same logic checks to any blockchain smart contract whatsoever? We now have a different technology that we couldn't have assumed it would be there, but it is here now. And people are using it. Like, you can play around with ChatGPT really easily. My understanding as an architect, I'm seeing this happen all the time, is people have these, they have middleware tools like Twilio, for example, where you can take, let's say I have a Google Sheets and I have some other application, and I can say, whenever this happens on this application, I want you to record this part of the information into Google Sheets, and it'll automate that middleware. It'll tie two unrelated systems together. So you can do that with AI now. ChatGPT is now something that can be handled with middleware, and you're going to see that become a big standard, and that's going to rapidly increase the amount of middleware applications, allowing things that aren't AI to have the benefits of AI just using middleware. So I personally think that design pattern is going to knock Cardano out of its relevance. That doesn't mean it'll go away. That just means it has lost its edge. It will no longer be interesting for that point. Like, if you were to get on a stage and try to defend why it's more valuable than other things, I could rebuttal that point with the AI reality, and we could do side-by-side tests, and I can prove to you that the AI is capable of yielding better results than just Haskell on its own.
AI is strong enough where you can drop the code in there and tell it, find exploits, and AI will find those exploits. So don't be surprised that the industry, all of a sudden, they're like, AI, backed by AI, developed with AI, because they're just going to add this middleware, as Datalord mentioned, and now they're AI compliant, so it's going to be another marketing ploy from Cardano if they do.
Yeah. It's that. So in terms of development activity, refers to the amount of work completed by cryptocurrencies project developers on the project's public GitHub repositories within the past 30 days. So that used to be a really good metric. It really did. At this point in time, we are now privy to some schemes that people are gaming that metric.
And Cardano's the perfect example of that. It's all Me Too's. They got a lot of Me Too's to catch up on.
Yeah, and that's precisely why we are talking about this article as deep as we are right now, instead of just reading it, because there's so much context this fits into that is macro, right? So unlike other measures, sentiments metrics focus on events rather than the total number of commits. So I appreciate that. Events encompass various actions taken on GitHub repositories, such as pushing a commit, forking a repository, or creating an issue. So yeah, this is cool that he charted this. So DOT and KSM are still rising. Interesting. So this approach provides a more accurate representation of the developer's actual work, as it prevents duplication or inaccuracies that may occur when measuring development activity solely by commits. For instance, forking creates a duplicate copy of a repository. Absolutely true. Including all previous commits. By counting the forking action as a single event, Sentiment avoids falsely attributing older commits to new developers. That's smart, man.
Well done.
Yeah, good job, Sentiment. According to Sentiment, Polkadot and Kusama boast a significant lead over other cryptocurrencies in development activity, with values of 4,117 for both coins. Meanwhile, Cardano, currently in third place, has experienced a recent decline, bringing it closer to Cosmos in fourth place. Now, let's talk about this piece, for example. Why is Cosmos lower on this totem pole, even though they're rapidly developing? Well, Cosmos, unlike the other applications, develops modules. Wow, think about this. So if you have modules, things are containerized. Like I've mentioned this before on the channel, we have like Lego bricks we could tie together. They don't have to keep pushing out new commits because they already built a block. It's already there, it works. And so they don't have to make new development in order to have this be usable by anything else. They could just build a new block. And so as they build different blocks, you can put them together in logic. There's some code required. I may have represented this in a way that was understood as Cardano has no code if you want to develop on it. It's not no code, it's low code, right? You still have to learn some code and some syntax, but you're not developing platforms. You're taking platforms and you're configuring them. And so that being said, you have all these little blocks and all you're doing is tying the configuration between them. I don't need to commit that to GitHub. It's already in the ecosystem. And so even though Cosmos is lower in fourth place, any commits it has is either fixing things on the current blocks I mentioned or creating a new block, which is far more useful than just creating development without actually containerizing each microservice, right?
Precisely. And as modules, you just pick. So if you're a company that wants to implement a Atom or Cosmos, your team will pick these finished modules and then weave them as their business case requires it. So it's a practical application versus Haskell, Cardano. There's so much Me Too. You do have to. It's harder to weave everything together.
Yeah, and really, the way programs are developed today, like modern programming, is done with what's called a microservice. So I'm going to show. Let me organize my tabs.
Whip it out.
Myself.
Whip it out, Data Lord.
So this is Netflix, right? Netflix is deployed on Amazon Web Services, but like all of these little pieces are elements inside of Netflix, right? These are microservices that are tied together. So Cosmos works with microservices that can be tied together, right? And so, in Netflix example, you have like petabytes of cloud storage in Amazon's, S3 simple secure storage. And then in Amazon cloud, in Enterprise Cloud, they have an encoding application. And then they also have a service that does content management. And all of that is underneath this content vertical. And then they also have other tools they may come out with like logging. Well, that's a totally different microservice they plug in. Having people with the ability to sign up on a website and have that go into a system, that's another microservice. Having, you know, metadata of all of your movies and TV shows, that's another piece. And so like all of these are things that would be committed to GitHub, and yeah, they're tied together. But if I create a metadata and it needs to be used somewhere else, I can just plug it into somewhere else. I don't have to redevelop it. I just have to tie it together. So I want you to understand like how a developer, an engineer, or an architect might look at these systems, because that's what you have Cardano not doing and Cosmos is doing, right? So I hope that's useful. I know that's super deep and techy in the weeds, but
very clear.
I want you to think with a clear mind. So Kusama is worth pointing out here. It is a public pre-production environment for the Polkadot network, right? So over the past few years, both DOT and Kusama have demonstrated steady growth in development activity, while Cardano, ADA, has remained relatively stable, albeit at high values. So development activity is an important indicator of a developer's commitment to a project. And while it is not the only metric, a high level of activity can be a positive sign that a coin is not merely an exit scam. And I want you to hear that piece. That is true. And for a long time, that was the biggest issue of why you wanted to get into looking at the GitHub. You wanted to understand if something was just a rug pull that didn't really have any actual intention of building a roadmap, or no, they have real developers. They're actually developing stuff. You can look at the code. It's not nonsense. So that was the reason it was useful. But people realized, oh, we can just sit in a rocking chair all day long, and our pedometer is going to say we got a lot of steps in, even though we didn't have our feet on the ground, So anyways, that's all I wanted to go over on this article. But I think that's probably more substance than you're going to see on the majority of crypto channels. So
that's because we're sweaty nerds, bro. Sweaty nerds.
I mean, I just don't want you guys to be played. That's it. Yeah. So let's get into our headline article for the day. So MasterCard launched a Web3 user verification solution to curb bad actors. So MasterCard's new solution revolves around providing secure transactions between users. I like that. Verified according to standards set by the company. So at the very least, MasterCard's getting it that like, people have new expectations. And if we're not at least giving them some of their expectations, we're just going to see decline in user engagement. So, and also I want you to know too, MasterCard and Visa, they provide services. They're not the banks. So when you get a credit card, MasterCard and Visa aren't the guys who get paid the 4% APY or whatever it is, APR, whatever the card might be. What MasterCard is doing is they simply provide the settlement layer, and then your bank is like, hey, we'll put up this much money for this many cards, and we are going to charge people this much to use that. And yeah, MasterCard and Visa will charge a transaction fee. They call it
That's how they make their money.
And they make money that way, but they don't care what the percentage is on the card. Yeah. The card isn't MasterCard or Visa. Visa is just providing the tech so that when you use the point of sales terminals, it'll get processed, right?
Yes.
And I have a really good friend who, shout outs, you know who you are, who worked at Visa, and we had a long conversation about crypto and how Visa handled things. And so MasterCard's in the same cahoots. Don't think of MasterCard as the people charging you huge interest. Really, they're just providing point of sales terminals. You scan your card, it says, hey, I know this number. This number has this ledger. It has means to settle it. And then any of the payments and collecting a debt, that type of stuff, is the bank handling that, and some company they outsource to.
And think about it. That's a beautiful business to be in, because you're making your money up front. So my client way out there in Singapore having fun swipes his card. I took my 3% or 2.5% or whatever the percentage is right out the front. I hand over the management of that decision to a bank who put the logo on the card, and now it's on them to not default, the client not to default. But MasterCard and Visa already got their money up front. So blockchain is the next means of curbing transactions. So they're seeing the blockchain as a solution to problems they've had historically. So this is a great article where how they're diving into protecting themselves and the clients and the sales vendors.
Yeah, this is dope. So MasterCard's new solution revolves around providing secure transactions between users, verified according to standards set by the company. So global financial services giant MasterCard has launched a new Web3 solution aimed at enhancing user verification standards and reducing the opportunity for bad actors in the digital asset space. And the amount of money they lose because people are getting their credit cards stolen, skimmed, whatever it might be, and transactions going off on there, it not being the legitimate person using it, it's too high. They have to lock this down, and we have the tech for it. So there's a lot of money for this to be engineered properly. The solution announced on April 29th is dubbed the MasterCard Crypto Credential. In an accompanying explainer video shared to Twitter, the firm outlined that it's building a way for Web3 and blockchain services or service providers to help secure transactions between users, verified according to standards set by MasterCard. So, as part of the solution, users will be issued a MasterCard Crypto Credential Unique Identifier, or MCCUI.
Those are
MCCUI, McCooey, which in theory enables people to instantly verify that an address they want to send funds to has been vetted by MasterCard and has been operating in compliance with the firm's standards. The solution is also designed to support compliance through the exchange of essential metadata required to meet regulations. MasterCard stated, adding that it should help reduce the opportunities for bad actors and the risk of funds being lost for good. Okay, that's cool. For a centralized solution, I get it. That makes sense. You don't have to have all parts of a solution be decentralized for there to be value from a decentralized, infrastructure. You can have the authentication simply be decentralized, and then everything else can be centralized. And still not a great system. I'm not signing up for it, but I understand that some companies, specifically regulatory agencies, they want to have an override button, and if they don't, they're not comfortable putting their money there, right? It really is a financial risk for them. If the system doesn't work as advertised, they have no recourse. So,
and MasterCard, Visa, and American Express are the three juggernauts, Diners Club and others in Europe, where they are trusted entities, and they're using now blockchain to even further lock in their trust to the markets, but not decentralized, which is trustless. But this is great development.
It's hybrid, and I expect hybrid solutions to become common. The solution is also designed to support compliance through the exchange of essential metadata required to meet regulations. MasterCard stated, adding, it should help reduce the opportunities for bad actors and the risk of funds being lost for good. As such, even if bad actors slip through the cracks and obtain a unique identifier, MasterCard can quickly revoke their verification if they've been found to have engaged in nefarious activities. So I'm sorry, Nemesis, you're screwed. It's a joke. I'm joking. I joking.
We know.
I joking. I like you. The firm named a long list of partners behind the solution. On the wallet side, MasterCard has teamed up with crypto providers Bit2Me, Lyrium, Mercado, Bitcoin, and Uphold. In terms of blockchains, the firm has partnered with Aptos, Avalanche, Polygon, and Solana. MasterCard also outlined it will be tapping into CipherTrace suites of services, including CipherTrace Traveler to help verify addresses and support travel rule compliance for cross-border transactions. MasterCard has been continually upping its exposure to the crypto sector over the past couple of years. The latest announcements come just a few weeks after it launched a non-fungible token gated musician accelerator program in collaboration with Polygon. We covered that article. See, we're informed here. We know stuff. And we're helping you know stuff. The program offers free access until end of April to, well, it's end of April already. GG. To materials, unique artificial intelligence tools, and other experiences to holders of MasterCard's Music Pass NFTs. So, MasterCard competitor Visa also made a crypto move earlier this week after Kai Sheffield, the firm's head of crypto, took to Twitter on April 24th to announce a new stablecoin payment-focused project. We covered that.
Yes.
Which details are sparse at this stage. Sheffield shared a job listing for the role, which notes the company is building the next generation of products to facilitate commerce in everyone's digital and mobile lives. The company is on the outlook for someone with strong Web3 and blockchain experience. So, I want you to hear that. If you're interested in getting paid a lot of money, learn a lot of blockchain stuff, just bite the bullet, get sweaty, and dive right in. If you're wondering how to get started, look in our description. We have a Discord. Come hang out. I will literally hand you links and say, do this thing, and you'll make the monies. So, Indo says, so stablecoin transactions can be paused and reversed.
Stablecoins are centralized. So in concept, yes, they can be paused and reversed. So if you look at the whale, there's a report that any whale moves. They're now also announcing frozen wallets. Why? How can they be frozen? USDT or USDC or any of these stablecoins? It's because it is fully centralized, guys. So, Indo, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, it's true. So, I hope everyone's having a better Monday than some of these guys here, because that's these poor centralized crypto holders getting wrecked. It's terrible. Centralized to the face. Centralization. Oh, centralized. This kid's gonna get centralized. Oh, he got centralized.
Dang, right in the mouth.
So I hope you've had fun this lovely Monday morning. That kid died. To see him just go into coffin pose.
Oh my God.
It's a broken nose.
Yeah, he lost his teeth.
That's what happens when you're centralized. Oh
my God. Wear mouth guards, guys.
The ribs.
If you trade in a centralized exchange, wear mouth guards, please.
Yeah. Oh, that kid got centralized right there. Gonna centralize his brain in the trash can. So, and to the nuts.
The pavement.
So, thanks for the laughs. Thanks for the hangouts, the encouragement. We hope we do the same for you. Oh, that kid got wasted. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Everything we do, even these nutty things, is for you.
And that's
guys.
how you break your ankle.
Yeah. Oh, Lord.
So, I don't know.
Out of all the grass, he nailed a metal thing. Oh, my God.
I hope you like these outros, because I have too much fun with them. Oh, my goodness. So I love you guys so much. We'll be back Monday, Wednesday, Friday this time. Yep. Also, I'm thinking about making. I like hacky sacks. I don't know if you're still into sand hacky sacks and whatnot, but I'm seeing if I can't get some with like different cryptocurrencies on them.
Ooh,
so
nice.
You can have like a Bitcoin hacky sack. That'd be a cool way to start conversations at places. Just doing hacky sack, like, yo, is that Bitcoin? You can just start talking about it and be like, hey, you should not play yourself. You should DCA.
Yeah. So we weave DCA into it. Amazing idea.
Yeah, and then the other thing too, you can also get hacky sacks for cryptos you hate. That way you can kick them all the time. So we're gonna dance this out. Let's do it.
Let's go.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna dance it. Oh no, this kid's gonna get. Why? So I hope you don't get centralized. Use the centralization.
Yes.
If you're not holding your own keys, this is what's gonna happen to you. Oh, nuts!
Oh, nuts! Oh, dude! Someday we'll grow up, bro.